Sveiki! Hi, my name is Baiba Freidenfelde and I teach Latvian as a foreign language. So today I will tell you all I know about the genitive case in Latvian language. So let's start. Ģenitīvs. Ģenitīvs. So the basic understanding of a genitive case, it shows the possession and answers to the question whose or kā in Latvian language. And as this, it's equivalent to the English apostrophe and s. But that's not all. So on many more occasions when we use a genitive case. So that's why you see today we will talk about the noun endings in genitive, also about this possession and the question word kā, possessive pronoun in genitive and how it's used, and then descriptive function and the question word kāds, kāda, and then a noun in genitive plus another noun, or when in English is the use preposition of something, yeah. And then street names in Latvia and how the genitive is used there. Then we will talk about the substance, how and purpose or content, applicant, a measurement, numerals plus genitive. Also, genitive is used after possessor in phrases meaning not to have, or when the having but to be verb is a negative form. I already mentioned that in the previous video about the dative forms. So the genitive also will be used with an adverbs, žēl, daudz, maz, vairāk, gana. Then kungs, kundze, or Mr. Mrs. in Latvian. Demonstrative pronoun in genitive, ordinal numbers in genitive, prepositions with a noun in genitive, and personal pronoun in genitive. So a lot of things to talk about. So let's start and be patient, right? I'll take the video away. It doesn't cover the information. That the endings in the genitive case. So the nominative, that's a dictionary form, yeah, and as you can see in genitive s and s changes to a, and also is will change to a. So the majority of the masculine singular nouns in genitive will end a. So basically they will look like feminine nouns. Third declension, same as the sixth declension, doesn't change. So in genitive it stays exactly the same as it was in the nominative. Feminine singular forms, a changes to as, e to s. So feminine forms looks like a plural, but isn't, right? It's singular genitive. And if you look at the plural endings, then all six declensions in genitive ends u. So all nouns will look the same, but the ending will be exactly the same. The stars here tells us that the palatalization can happen. So we're kind of used to the palatalization, even the consonant before the ending can change. We are familiar with that with the second declension, all the plural forms and singular genitive form, right? I think majority of you know, yeah? Brālis and then brāļa. Yeah, supposed to use the star probably here as well. In genitive, it's and all plural forms in the second declension would have this palatalization as well. Yeah, not with every single noun, but quite common, quite often. But now we have also in the fifth and sixth declension, the palatalization can happen, but only plural genitive form. So then egle can become egļu, l become ļa, durvis as feminine plural noun, durvju, door, yeah, door handle, durvju, rokturis, for example. Priede, priežu, d changes to ž, nakts, nakšu, t becomes š. Yeah, same as here, latvietis, latviešu. So probably I will need to create another video explaining more about the palatalization. Usually the easiest version would be to explain that it changes to the same consonant if there is the same consonant with a little sign and looks different in our alphabet. So like L to L, or soft version of the consonant N to N, and so on. But not always. And then quite common, especially with nationalities, you will see the T changes to Sh. Yeah. And other versions like V, and then it's V. A little bit more later as well. So also remind you again that the first declension endings and fourth declension endings will be not only for the nouns but also for the possessive pronouns mans tavs, so mana tava, manas tavas, numeral, viens, vienas, viena, viena, vienas, and also for all the adjectives, laba, labas. So numeral adjective possessive pronoun mans tavs goes always in agreement with the noun and will take exactly the same case, same gender, same number. Let's move on. Possession. Or in Latvian we could call it piederība, also ownership or belonging. Tā ir Jāņa māja. That's Jānis' house. So it belongs to Jānis. That's why Jānis become in genitive Jāņa māja. Viņa māja ir jauna un moderna. So his house is new and modern. Viņa māja. So personal pronoun viņš, he. In genitive become viņa, his. Kā māja tā ir? So whose house is that? Kā māja tā ir? And the answer is Jāņa. Or, in this case, also we could say viņa, his. Annas suns ir ļoti draudzīgs. So Anna's dog is very friendly. So a dog who belongs to Anna. Kā suns tas ir? Whose dog is that? Annas suns. Dzīvokļa atslēgas ir mašīnā. So the car keys, no car, apartment keys is in the car. Dzīvokļa atslēgas. So we have a noun dzīvoklis, an apartment, and dzīvokļa atslēgas, apartments, keys. Kā atslēgas ir mašīnā, or more common would be kādas atslēgas ir mašīnā. What type of keys are in the car? And then the answer is dzīvokļa. Mašīnas atslēgas ir dzīvoklī. So, the car keys is in the apartment now. Mašīnas atslēgas. So, mašīnas is in genitive because keys kind of belong to a car. And again, same question. Yeah, kā atslēgas, but not so common. So probably mašīnas is more this descriptive function. It's already functioning like an adjective. And then we can use this question, what would be more common, kādas, what kind. Latvijas galvaspilsēta ir Rīga. So the capital of Latvia is Riga, and we say that Latvijas capital. Tā kā galvaspilsēta ir Rīga? Latvijas. So if that is understandable and clear, let's move on. If not, write down in the comments or send me an email with the questions. Possessive pronoun piederības vietnieka vārdi and in nominative and genitive. I already, if you've been watching the previous videos, noticed that several times I already mentioned that only mans and tavs, my and your, these two possessive pronouns will follow the noun and will take the same case as a noun it describes. So that's why these two have a genitive form, mans, and again endings are the same as the nouns, first and fourth declension. Mans becomes mana, tavs, and becomes tava. And I'm giving only the masculine singular form here. But then remember, if you need, go back to that first table very quickly. And remember that this column, mans tavs, become mana tava. And fourth declension, mana tava, in feminine changes to genitive manas tavas. And same here in plural, manu tavu. And manu tavu will be here exactly the same. So, quickly go back there. But rest of the possessive pronouns doesn't change, so they always stay the same. Tas ir mans tēvs, so that's my father. Tā ir mana tēva māja. So I'm using, I could skip the word mana. I could say tā ir tēva māja, that's father's house. Tā ir tēva māja. But I could say that's my father's house. And in Latvian, it's not as common as in English to use my every time when we mention a person. But sometimes we need to specify, and then in Latvian we would say mana tēva, my father's house. And then mana goes in agreement with tēva. So if tēva is in genitive, mana describes tēva and takes the same case. In other situation, it could be the mans are related to different noun. So then it could be that it is in agreement with this noun. But not this time. So in the sentence, it could be that you need to make sure the mans or mana is in agreement with which noun? The tēva or māja? This time we say that it's not mana māja, we say mana tēva. My father's house, not mana, my house, and father's as well. Viņa māja ir liela. So personal pronoun now in genitive, his house is big, viņa māja ir liela. You see? Viņa māja ir liela. So it's his. Anna ir manas mammas māsa. Anna ir manas mammas māsa. So Anna ir māsa, and whose sister is she? Manas mammas, my mom's sister. Viņas meita ir mana māsīca. So her daughter is my cousin. Viņas vārds ir Paula. So her name is Paula. Vai tava brāļa ģimene ir liela? Is your brother's family big? Nē, viņu ģimene nav liela. No, their family is not big. Answer my question. So it's a start for you to build some sentences. Vai viņas cepure ir dzeltena? Vai viņa mati ir blondi? So is her hat yellow? Is his hair or are his hair blonde? Kādā krāsā ir viņu mašīna? Answer in the full sentences, Kā gulta tā ir? Whose bed is in this picture? Do you know? Kā draugi viņi ir? Whose friends are they? Those little ones here with the hats. And that is your answers. Or maybe I have to give you a moment to stop your video, answer the questions, but there is some answers here as well. So, let's check. The first question, vai viņas cepure ir dzeltena? Jā, viņas cepure ir dzeltena. Number 2, numur 2, vai viņa mati ir blondi? Nē, viņa mati nav blondi. Vai kādā krāsā ir viņu mašīna? Viņu mašīna ir sarkana. Kā gulta tā ir? Tā ir sarkangalvītes vecmāmiņas gulta. So we have two genitives form. Here, sarkangalvītes, Red Riding Hood, it's hers, like, and then her is in genitive, and then it says another form, vecmāmiņas, grandmothers. This is the wolf, yeah, but supposed to be a grandmother there. And then gulta, bed. So genitive, and then the noun. Yeah, belongs to the sarkangalvītes, so the grandmother is sarkangalvītes, her grandmother, and the bed is grandmother's. Viņi ir sniegbaltītes draugi. So they are sniegbaltītes. So this girl here is called sniegbaltīte, Snow White, and her friends. Descriptive function and kāds kāda. So this function is used for the languages. Maybe you know that when we name the language, which says it's language of Latvian people, French people, Spanish people. So plural genitive form of the nationality. Latviešu, franču, spāņu, angļu valoda. Also, Franču siers, French cheese, yeah. Spāņu vīns, Spanish wine. Latviešu tautas dziesmas, Latvian folk songs. So all the first words are in genitive. Same way we would say acu ārsts, eye doctor. Telefona numurs, phone number. Autobusa pietura, bus stop, tram stop, tramvai pietura. Also for the names of the museums, Mākslas muzejs, Art Museum, Medicīnas muzejs, Vēstures muzejs, History Museum. So all these first nouns is in the genitive. So I would usually say to my students, if you see two nouns in a row, the first one must be in genitive. Yeah? Even if there is 2, 3, or 4 nouns in a row and they all are related somehow, then it definitely will be all of them in genitive except the last word. That will be, depends on the structure of the sentence, depends on the verb in a certain case. Answer my question. Kāds vīns jums garšo? Kāds vīns jums garšo? Kādas valodas jūs zināt? What languages do you know? Kādās valodās jūs runājat? Or what languages do you speak? Kādu muzeju jūs apmeklējāt? Write down the answers. So let's move on. Something of something equals second noun in genitive plus first noun. So apply this formula and write down these phrases in Latvian. How would you say it in Latvian? University of Latvia, President of Latvia, Schools of Riga, King of England, Statue of Freedom, and Lord of Rings. So, if you did like this, then you should be correct. Latvijas Universitāte. So we start with the second noun in a genitive plus the first noun. And at the moment when it's a statement only, we use it in nominative form. It depends on the sentence. It could be also used in different cases. Yeah, the second noun. So, President of Latvia, Latvijas prezidents, Rīgas skolas, Anglijas karalis, brīvības piemineklis un gredzenu pavēlnieks. So the last one could be a bit more difficult. It's not direct translation, yeah? So, ejam tālāk. Let's move on. Street names. all the street names in Latvia is in genitive because it belongs to that thing. So buras, buras is the sail, that fabric I use when sailing. So buras, and then we change it to buru iela, so plural, buru iela. Pils, as you know, in genitive it stays the same, pils iela. Brīvība is freedom, un brīvības iela, so it belongs to the freedom, this street. Pasta iela, and that made of the noun pasts and not pasta. Like one of my students said that he was very happy to make some pictures with the pasta street, and he was from Italy. He's happy to see there is a pasta street, but no, it's a post street. Krasta iela, krasts is like a bank, river bank, yeah, or coast, something like that. What's on the side, the land side of the water. It's krasts and then a krasta iela. Ķiršu iela, so ķirši, cherries and cherries street. Ķiršu iela. Parks un parka iela. So, can you do the opposite now? These are the persons. The street is in the person's name. And can you change it from the genitive to the nominative form? Tātad Krišjāņa barona iela, and the name of the person is Krišjānis Barons. And as you can see, it's a male person and not a female. How would you say Krišjāņa Valdemāra iela? What would be this person's name? Krišjānis Valdemārs. Merķeļa iela. Yeah, if you see the soft consonant, most probably it indicates the palatalization. So it means that it should be a second declension noun ending is. Merķelis. Raiņa bulvāris. The same story. Palatalization, you can see here. And its name is Rainis. It's a great poet, yeah. Marijas iela, and her name is Marija. Elizabetes iela, Elizabete. Aspazijas bulvāris. What's the name of the person? Also a great poet and playwright, same as Rainis. Aspazija. And now we have a new street, Ukrainas neatkarības iela. So Ukraina become Ukrainas, yeah, and neatkarības independence street. So both nouns are in genitive. Ukrainas neatkarības iela. And these lines of genitive can be very long. Yeah. And tālāk. Is that clear? Let's move on. Substance. Or in Latvian we call it viela. What the things are made of. Māla krūze. Māla krūze. Māls. It's a clay. If I'm not mistaken, you can check. Māls, a dictionary form. Koka galds. Koka galds. Wooden table. That koka is wooden as well, not just a tree. Metāla vārti. Metāla vārti. So metal gates. Rudzu milti. Rye flour. Rudzu milti. Gumijas laiva. Rubber boat. Gumijas laiva. Priedes kokas kapis. So again we have two genitives. because we explain what type of wood it is. Yeah, so it's a pine tree. Yeah, pine wood wardrobe, if I translate literally, pine tree. Zelta gradzeni, golden rings. Zelta gradzeni. And again, we can also use it for siera pizza. Siers, cheese, and siera pizza. Easy, right? 2 nouns in a row, first one in genitive. 3 nouns in a row, the first 2 probably in genitive. And tālāk, let's move on. And things we need to pay attention to is when we talk about a container, or we talk about only what's inside of this container. And that's in the second as well. That the application, purpose, or contents. Augļu trauks. So which one is that? What do you think? Augļu trauks. Vīna glāze. Galda piederumi. Kafijas krūze. Futbola bumba. Sporta kurpes. When we talk about kafijas krūze, it is about a container. We don't talk about that what's inside. We talk about a dish. When we talk about augļu trauks, only about this blue plate or bowl, we don't talk about fruit itself. Vīna glāze, again, it's only a container, the glass itself. We don't talk about wine yet. And when do we talk about wine? In the moment. Before you have a task. Nosauc preces. Name goods. Can you combine 2 nouns together in correct form to make it a product? So there's 5 products there. If you need more time, stop the video and let's check. So, matu šampūns, veļas mašīna, galda lampa, telefona lādētājs, klavieru krēsls. Congratulations if you did it well. Hey, I managed. Measurement, mērs, kilograms kartupeļu. So kilo of potatoes. And now we have these potatoes after the kilo. Yeah. Paka apelsīnu sulas. So it's a carton of orange juice. So when we talk about the measurement, then the product itself goes after in the genitive. So it's upside down sentence, kind of. Kaste mandarīnu, box of mandarins. 5 karotes miltu. So these structures you can see very, very often in recipe books. What do you need to make get this food done? Yeah, what ingredients is needed and how much. So 5 spoons of flour. 2 litri piena, 2 liters of milk. teikarota cepam pulvera. Teaspoon of baking powder, excuse me. And now I go back to, remember I told you that when we talk about a container and when we talk about what's inside of the container, glāze piena, when we talk about a product, what's inside of this, then that noun goes as a second in genitive. The product goes as a second noun and in genitive. When we use the common structure, two nouns in a row and the first one in genitive, then we talk about container. Piena glāze, milk glass. So when we talk about a product, what's inside of the container, we use the genitive as a last word. When we talk about the container, we use genitive as the first one. It could be complicated and not always people, it could be the Latvians also mismatch this. Yeah, that therefore, next task, 1 second, I was very fast. If you want to read this, there. So what do you choose? Glāze vīnu vai vīna glāzes? What do you want? Glass full of wine or wine glasses? Fantas pudele vai pudele fantas? What would you choose? Think about it and let me know. Do you want a container or a product as well? But don't be too nervous about it, yeah? If you order food in a market, you buy a food and you would like to practice and use these genitive forms, use your product as a last one, yeah? 1 kilo of, exactly like English, 1 kilo of potatoes, 1 kilogramu kartupeļu, and the product will be in genitive, okay? If you're asking for empty container, use the genitive as the first one. Good luck. Ejam tālāk. Numerals plus genitive. Skaitļa, vārdi un genitīvs. So after the numerals, so non-declinable numerals, you're supposed to use genitive. Grammatically correct, but not many people use that. Therefore, both forms would be acceptable. I would say like that. So after the numbers 10, 11, 100, 100, tūkstotis, tūkstoši, miljons, miljards, the noun should be in genitive. How would you say this one? 17 zebru. 12 putnu. 1000 bišu. Or maybe problēmu, if you like that better. One of the things what's grammatically correct, but people, even native speakers, doesn't follow this rule often. If you've been learning Latvian correctly, then you would know when we learn to say age, there is also used 3 different endings. Yeah, if the age is a number what ends with a t, non-declinable form, like a round number 20, 30, or all the teen numbers 11 to 19, or 10 itself as well, then you would say gadu. Man ir 30 gadu. And then if it's 1, the last digit is 1, it makes the noun singular. Man ir 31 gads. And if it's from 2 to 9, 32 gadi. Yeah, the same pattern there. But as I said, yeah, it's not always used. So this is a copy-paste from the previous webinar about dative. I already mentioned this thing before. So when we talk about having, but not to have, let's say, when to be verb is used in the negative form, now in present, or nebija in the past, or nebūs in the future, then the noun must be in genitive after these negative forms. Man šodien ir vairākas tikšanās un nav laika pusdienām. So today I have several meetings and I don't have a time for lunch. Nav laika, don't have a time. Same way we can use also the verbs pietikt un trūkt. Pietikt is enough, un trūkt to lack or not be enough. Man pietiek darba, I have enough work to do, and man trūkst laika, I'm lacking time, I don't have enough time. Mums nav vakanču, so we don't have vacancies, vakances. There is a palatalization, vakanču. C changes to č. Kaimiņiem vakar nebija interneta. So neighbors didn't have an internet yesterday. Internets become interneta. And give the negative answer to these questions. Vai jums ir vakances? Vai mums šodien ir ballīte? Vai jums rīt būs laiks? Write down your answers. Next. Adverbs. Daudz, maz, vairāk, žēl, gana. Asks for the nouns to be in a genitive form. Now, for example, if you see the word daudz in the text, or you try to say it, the noun must be in genitive. Again, one of those things which is nice and grammatically correct to use, but even native speakers often will make a mistake there and will use a nominative instead. Depends on the sentence, yeah. Maz olu, vairāk alus. Yeah, bija, alus is a singular, even if it's more. We use it only as a singular form. Žēl gadu. Žēl is a pity. So a pity, you kind of feel sorry about the years you spent something or somewhere, on something or somewhere, and don't see a good outcome from that. Žēl gadu. Gana problēmu. Gana is like enough problem. With the meaning I have quite a lot of them. So can you change, can you say, look at the pictures and build your sentence. And let me know your sentence if you want me to check. Write it in the comments or send me an email. Next. Answer my questions. Kā jums ir daudz? Kā jums ir daudz? Yeah, because our answer is in genitive, and the question word also is in genitive. So what do you have a lot? Maz, a little. Žēl, pity or sorry for something, someone. Gana, enough. Vairāk, more. Write down your answers and remember to use noun in genitive after these words. Good luck. Mr. and Mrs. or kungs, kundze. So, in Latvian, kungs, kundze. Kungs is a Mr., kundze, Mrs. Is used, so we use the surname, the last name, in genitive, plus Mr. or Mrs. So, other way around. So, if you see that's my surname, Freidenfelde. So, can you say it with the kundze? Change my surname to the genitive form, plus add noun kundze. There you go. Freidenfeldes kundze. How about Mr. Kalniņš? Mr. Kalniņš. What would be the genitive form? Kalniņa kungs. Mr. Bērziņš. Bērziņa kungs. Mrs. Krūmiņa. Krūmiņas kundze. Mr. Briedis. Brieža kungs. As you can see, these surnames ends is, and then we must be aware that could be a palatalization. So there is some other letters what's common for the palatalization. As I mentioned already, that usually if there is another consonant soft version in the alphabet, it changes to that. But t changes to sh, d to j, and b to bj, and p to pj, and there are some others as well. But not all of that you need to remember straight away. So Mr. Gulbis will change to exactly Gulbja kungs. Wonderful. So, what's your name? With Mr. or Mrs. Write it down. Also, it could be used with professions or occupation. For example, profesores kundze. Mrs. Professor. Probably in English you don't say that, but in Latvian it's possible. Dr. kungs. Mr. Doctor. Sounds strange. And what's interesting that you will hear the Latvians use, for example, for the aunt. Tā ir mana tante Anda. That's my aunt Anda. And when you call her, the person would say Andestante. Andestante, kur tu esi? Strangely, we would use a genitive form with the person's name, first name. So that's my aunt Anda. Yeah. And if I call her, I say Andestante, kur tu esi? Ko tu dari? So the name goes in genitive. But when it's an uncle, then it's usually in one word. So for masculine forms, we lose ending, and in this case we use is, yeah, and we add onkulis in one word. Tas ir mans onkulis Jānis, that's my uncle Jānis, and when I call him I say, Čau Jāņonkuli. Tas ir Jāņonkulis. So that's how the native speakers will talk. Demonstrative pronoun and genitive. As you know, demonstrative pronoun also follows the noun and takes the same case as a noun, and in genitive, tas and šis changes to tā and she, and feminine tā and she changes to tās and šīs. Look at that. Weird, right? Tie and šie changes to to and šo, and tās and šīs also change to to and šo. Let's look at the sentence. Tā ir Jāņa māja, that's Jānis house. Tās īpašnieks ir Jānis. So tās, now it will be its owner, the house. Yeah, the house owner is Jānis. And in this case, I'm not repeating the name Māja, the word māja again. Yeah, I could replace it and say mājas īpašnieks. House owner is Jānis. But instead of māja, that I don't repeat it again, to, yeah, if it's a text, yeah, I'm using the same noun again, then I replace it with a demonstrative pronoun, and it means its īpašnieks, its owner is Jānis. Šī suņa saimniece ir Anna. So, suņa saimniece, dog's owner is Anna. Yeah, owner, I would say owner. And šī suņa, so this one particular dog, this, yeah, dog's owner. Es meklēju šo durvju atslēgu. So I'm looking for the door key. And then I can point and say to this particular door. I need a key from this particular door. Es meklēju šo durvju atslēgu. Yeah, durvju, plural genitive, and šo takes the same. Case, same gender, same number. To durvju atslēga ir pie manis. So, that door key is with me. Try to build your sentence using the demonstrative pronoun as well, and genitive. Next, ordinal number and genitive. So, as you know, ordinal numbers, same as cardinal numbers, also follow the noun and take the same case as a noun. So lots of connections, right, there in the sentence. Just the endings is a bit different from ordinal numbers and demonstrative pronouns, but they have similar between them. Ordinal number has similar endings to demonstrative pronoun. If you compare with the previous slide, tā, šī, tā, šīs, and in genitive plural, to, šo. And now look at the endings here. Long AS, and o, exactly the same ones. So demonstrative pronoun and genitive, ordinal number and genitive. Pirmais changes to pirmā, pirmā changes to pirmās. Again, this similarity like in the previous one. Pirmie and pirmās is one form pirmo. Šis ir 2022. Gada 14. novembris, so that's not truth, right? It's when I'm recording this is a 5th or 6th already of December. 6th of December. 6. Decembris. But that's the correct form how in Latvian we would say the full sentence, and that's how the children would learn in school as well. The full date is written like this. 2022. Gada 14. novembris. This part is in genitive. Otrā gada. Gada is in genitive because it says 14th of November of the year 2022. So it goes in the front and in genitive, like we had before in the structures, when it's something of something in English. So we use the second something in front and in genitive. Same structure actually here. But always remember, if we use the full date, it starts with the year and then the month follow. Then this part always will be genitive. A gada. I would usually say to my students, a gada. This part. This part depends on the question, yeah? Ir 21. gadsimta sākums. So this is the beginning of the 21st of the century. 21. gadsimta. Yeah, in English, the beginning of the 21st of the century. In Latvian, 21st century's beginning. Yeah, the literal translation would be. Pirmās nodarbības sākumā mēs klausīsimies dziesmu. So we will listen to the song at the beginning of the first lesson. Or at the first lesson's beginning we will listen the song. Pirmās nodarbības sākumā. So this part is in genitive. Nodarbības and a first lesson takes the same case. Pirmo dziesmu svētku vēsture. So it's a plural form. Because the noun dziesmu svētki Latvian, you know, maybe you heard of this big song festival that happens once in 5 years, and it will happen next summer or in 2023. So, but this is in this sentence it says pirmo dziesmu svētku vēsture. So dziesmu svētki, the noun svētki itself is always plural. So numeral takes also the plural ending. And it's a genitive because we talk about history of song festival. And then pirmo is in agreement and takes the genitive plural ending o, pirmo. 4. klašu skolēni. So in a big school, there is a 4th grade students, but there could be several groups of them. Yeah, but if we are all of them together, all groups together, so then we could use 4th grade students. But there is several groups of 4th grade students. In Latvian, we don't need to use the noun groups because it's enough to use a plural noun. Klašu, it means several groups, several classes. And 4. also is in plural. Try to build your sentence. Make it clear for yourself that you get it. Yeah. Ejam tālāk. Next, prepositions and genitives. Prievārdi. So quite a few prepositions we use plus noun in genitive if this noun is in singular form. Always remember that. If the noun is in plural, what do we use then? A dative case. Exactly. Always. Yeah, but this time we talk only about genitive, so we are using singular forms. The first group of these 5 prepositions, aiz, uz, virs, zem, and pie, always shows us a location where the things are placed, so that's why it's easy to learn this as a group. And the second is other different prepositions, pēc and pirms, after and before, no, from, kopš, since, bez, without, and there is another one, dēļ, which you don't learn at the beginning. We don't talk about that usually at the level A, but it's also a preposition we use as genitive, but it's a very strange one because this is the only preposition, or almost the only one, we use after the noun and not before. So let's look at where is it? Where is the cat? Kur ir kaķis? Kur ir kaķis? Kaķis ir aiz galda. Kur tagad ir kaķis? Kaķis ir uz galda. Yeah, the name of this furniture is galds in a dictionary form. Kaķis ir virs galda. Kaķis ir zem galda. Un kaķis ir pie galda. Exactly like the cats can be, right? So try to build your sentences with the other prepositions as well. Or with these ones too, of course. Personal pronoun in genitive. Remember, we talked about possessive pronoun in genitive, and now I'm saying personal pronoun in genitive. But if we look carefully to the table, only this part has a different form from the things you already know. When we talk about possessive pronoun, my and your, then we write here mans and tavs, but rest, viņa, viņas, mūsu, jūsu, un viņu, exactly is the same like it's written here in this table. Now I'm talking about personal pronoun in genitive, and again we have a new forms only for es and tu in genitive. Manis, tevis. Rest of the form stays exactly as it was. So, and we need to remember this. Manis, tevis especially when we use preposition. Because if we use a preposition, for example, pie, and if you know the pie we use when you go to a person, yeah, as I go to a person, I use preposition pie. If I go to a place, I use preposition uz, and that's plus accusative. It's a different story. But when you go to a person, we use preposition pie plus noun and genitive, if it's singular. And if this noun is a personal pronoun, not a noun, so it still must be in a genitive form. Then you need to know these two forms. Manis tevis. Kad jūs brauksiet pie manis? So, I'm in Georgia now. When you will come to my place? Kad jūs brauksiet pie manis? When will you come to mine? Kad būs ballīte pie tevis? When will be the party at yours? Pie tevis. At your place. Pie tevis. Yeah? And remember I mentioned the preposition dēļ, which is used after the noun or personal pronoun. In this case, manis dēļ jums tagad jāmācās. What does it mean? What do you think? Do you remember the meaning of dēļ? Because of, the sake of. So because of me, you need to study now. Isn't that terrible thing? Manis dēļ jums tagad jāmācās. So dēļ is used after the noun or personal pronoun. In genitive, if it's singular. Laika trūkuma dēļ es jums nestāstīšu visu. So, because of the lack of time, I won't tell you everything. Bērni šodien nav skolā slimības dēļ. So the children is not in the school today because of illness. Slimības dēļ. Koncerts ir atcelts lietus dēļ. So the concert is cancelled because it will rain. Kāpēc? Kādēļ. Means the same. Kādēļ jūs šovakar neskatāties filmu? Kādēļ jūs šovakar neskatāties Netflixu? Answer my question. Ko jūs parasti darāt pirms darba? Vai jūs dzīvojat Latvijā kopš Covid pandēmijas? Ko jūs darīsiet pēc šīs latviešu valodas nodarbības? No kuras valsts jūs esat? Vai jūs dzerat kafiju bez piena un cukura? That's it. Paldies par uzmanību. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for watching and learning Latvian. I'm proud of all of you. And I'll see you next time. Hopefully very soon. Next time I'll tell you a little bit about a vocative case, as well as how to write a greeting card correctly in Latvian or an email. Paldies! I would be happy to see your questions or your answers to my questions. And I'll see you next time. Paldies, visu labu, ata!